Welcome again to It Doesn't Take a Genius, conversation with introspective perspectives and pithy points of view. Here are your hosts, my friends, Max and Marty.
I think that's Mark and Mike.
Yeah, whatever.
Ramsey!
Greetings, Mike Marshall. I will go ahead and get this out of the way. I'm a little sunburned. I was at a cross-country meet for a very long time on Saturday, and you'll be hearing more about that in our next episode.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I hope you finished in the top three.
Definitely did not. Gonna be, although there was a meet where I did basically run the entire course with my 8-year-old who really didn't want to run, and that was not what I wanted to do in sandals, as it turns out. So,
no,
not fun.
Yeah,
that's a story for another day.
No, yeah. Everything I've heard about cross country, it is a parent participative sport.
Yes.
if you're going to take a good picture, you're going to see how your kid's doing, then you're going to be sprinting from checkpoint to checkpoint. So, I think that's fantastic. I think all sports should be that way. I saw one the other day where the football team, they had a night, parents' night, and then the mom suited up and then just knocked the snot out of their football player sons. It's like, see, that's old school right there. That's how we used to do it in my day.
I love it.
Yeah, that's like how we roll. So it's fascinating today. One of our viewers of the two has actually sent us a suggestion for this particular episode.
And this is not the first. We thank you so much, Dolores. This is it's sad and hilarious. I mean, it's both of those things at the same time, if I could say that.
Yeah. Oh, that, which is, by the way, is going to be the title of my autobiography.
Right.
Yeah. Sad and hilarious.
Well, so Dolores has a daughter. We will, you know what? Let's call her daughter Kay. How about that?
Okay, yes. Let's go with K.
Yeah.
Yes.
K. So Kay.
And about how old is Kay, would we assume, for our hypothetical example, that's true?
Let's say this is her first job out of college. I believe that's accurate. So she's
20, mid-20-ish.
Yeah, sure. Early 20s. Early 20s to mid-20s. Yeah. I like that. So Kay just bought her first car. And Dolores is one of our mentors. She's in the business with us. We've talked about her many times on the podcast. And it's just amazing how often this happens to people like us. She says her daughter had the worst experience ever. And she gave 3 very specific reasons, which we're going to cover here. She said the store was slow to respond, used terms that Kay didn't understand, and tried to sell Kay things that she really didn't know if she needed. Mm-hmm. And those are 3 things that are great little factoids. Let me give you the sort of sad and funny story. She says the funniest thing she said to me was that she purchased an extended service contract, and the F&I manager said it's basically bumper to bumper coverage on her car. But when she read the list of exceptions, she said, if it's bumper to bumper coverage, then why are bumpers excluded?
I hate it when the customer shows up with logic. Whipping out your logic on me.
Well, hey, he said basically bumper to bumper. I mean, come on, give the guy a little slack.
Yes, and it's and just to read this is terrifying.
Right.
When we think of the divide between the service and sales department, this is one of the wedge statements where the sales department, you've got this warranty and it's bumper to bumper coverage, and then the customer comes into service and goes, no money will change hands today because I have bumper to bumper, and of course it doesn't cover wear items and things that, that you tear up and stuff like that. Right. So there's this unrealistic expectation. So I'm glad to see that Kay was not falling for the bumper to bumper mantra that was presented to her.
And it was still, just and we're going to sort of take these one by one, but the idea that selling her things she didn't know if she needed, such as bumper to bumper coverage that it turns out is not bumper to bumper. Is that important? Is it not important? She had a true lack of trust going through the system. I mean, you can put yourself in her shoes very easily. If you can't, think about a daughter or somebody who's that age, and think about how you'd feel if this was just run up the flagpole to them, and they had to make a split-second decision about it. This is really hard, right? What does this coverage mean? What does it mean? Doesn't even make sense.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think the saddest part, as you read this, as you read further into this, Kay left there in tears because she was there 5 hours. She's not exactly sure of what she purchased, and it will be years before she purchases again.
Yeah.
So here's this, this kid who, we always talk about the lifetime value of a customer. And there's this kid that's worth $600,000 over the course of a life. You think the household, the dad, her kids, all the vehicles and all the service. Yeah, you're looking at $600,000 that this dealership has truly just chased away.
Right.
They will never get that opportunity with this particular customer.
Well, I had this happen with another, just an acquaintance that I ran into at a coffee shop. I call her Fake Aunt Robin. That's what I call her, because she looks like my Aunt Robin, but she's not my Aunt Robin. So I call her Fake Aunt Robin. And she responds to that now, which I really appreciate, because for a while I truly didn't know her actual name. Anyway, I saw Fake Aunt Robin, and she was driving a car for a brand that I work with, and I didn't realize she had a car like this. And so I had to quiz her about it, and she was bragging about the vehicle, and she said it had held up much better than her other vehicle. And I'm not going to use any names here, okay, because it's just too painful. But basically I said, well, tell me, which dealership did you buy your vehicle that you like at? And she did not buy it at a dealership. And you want to know why? Because the experience with the other vehicle had been so painful that she refused to go back to a dealership. It was the same thing as here. Now this is a woman who's a little older and knew what she was doing coming into the situation, but she was going to pay cash, and they kept her for, I think she said 3 hours before they finally were willing to sell her the car, because they wanted to keep, trying to do financing and so on and so forth to make some money. And it's understandable that they want to make money. Everybody needs to make some profit. But man, these are like one and done experiences, right? They never come back to your store after this. In fact, they tell other people not to come to your store, as this woman did to me. So Kay is in a good boat with other people that are having the same experience, selling them things that they don't know if they need, or in some cases know for sure that they don't need, and yet they still try to do it.
Well, it goes into, how do we make the customer feel smart, informed? How do we as a business come across as transparent and ethical?
Right.
You've talked to me in such a way that I'm confused, and now I'm not even sure what I've purchased, and then I'm not sure what's in it for me. What a horrible feeling to leave a customer with. And the long-term prospects are pretty dismal for this relationship to continue.
Yeah, and before we leave this first item of selling things that you don't really know if you need, if your customers don't really know that they need, I hope nobody hears this as like a moral shamey finger of an episode. The point here is that nobody likes this. This doesn't work for you or for them. It doesn't help your customer, and it doesn't help you. And so there's a real logic here to doing a little self-assessment. Is there any part of our process, all of our customer touch points, where we're selling people things that they aren't sure if they know that they need?
Well, and you see this too, that where you see where it's bad enough that the customer comes back the next day or 2 days later,
Sure.
trying to unwind or get out of some of these things.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's and then on the flip side, we've got stores who would never do these things,
Of course.
and work incredibly hard to make sure that the customer feels smart, informed, and participative in the process. And yeah, they don't have these ongoing issues. And well, one store makes money in the short term, the other store is planning to make money for infinity.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So the thing we talked about, yeah, don't sell me stuff I don't know if I need it. The second one is using what I call dealer speak,
Yeah.
or industry language. Yeah, the automotive retail business is worse than the military when it comes to acronyms and words and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. Even the term F&I. Well, you're going to go see the F&I manager.
Right.
Well,
What is that?
yeah, what does he do? Well, he's going to talk to you about gap. There's a gap in my car, in my teeth. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. And the terms just continue. And that idea that, yeah, we use it so frequently internally to turn it off and to think about, okay, what is it that would be the civilian word for what I'm about to say? That has to take place.
And a good litmus test for this is to go find somebody not in the industry who's a friend of yours who would be willing to tell you the truth and say, Bob, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
what does that mean?
Yeah, and part of the problem with this is this example, and our examples, a lot of them occur in the Midwest. And in the Midwest, we're very nice people.
Right.
We don't want to make you feel dumb. So
right.
We won't tell you that you're making us feel dumb.
That's right.
We'll nod our heads. Like, yeah, that's great. Yeah. Wheel and tire. Oh yeah, cool.
Right.
Etch.
Right.
Okay. If we were on the East Coast, probably be a little bit tougher, to get these things past folks. But in the Midwest, we just nod our heads and kind of agree. We have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. And you see the theme here, right? Because you wouldn't want to be treated this way if you knew about it, right? If you knew you were treating somebody this way, you wouldn't want to do it. So it's trying to uncover getting into their shoes and like, what would this sound like to them? Really, really seeing it from their perspective so that you can treat them the way you would want to be treated as well.
Well, and could I actually get people to purchase more things if they understood it, what we were talking about?
Yep.
So yeah, if I say it in clear terms, it's easily understandable. I bring their apprehension, I bring resistance down. Now they have an open mind to consider, is this something that's worthwhile for me to spend my money on?
Amen.
So yeah, good stuff here. The last one, she talks about the length of the process, slow to respond, and use so
this is a hard one, I think, because we're understaffed. And so, if you're submitting a web lead or what have you, it's there. See, I used an industry term, lead. Customers don't submit leads, right? Customers ask questions. They fill out a form, maybe. They send an email, maybe.
Yeah. No, yeah, they ask questions online.
So with all that being said, we don't have a ton of staff in a lot of situations to respond to said leads. And so there's a logistical barrier here. But now we're talking about setting expectations with our customers at the very least, if not, responding promptly and having the process when we're in person, go as fast as it can. But a lot of this involves checking in with that customer and making sure they know that things are happening. I always think about, I'll use kayak.com because that's the one I always go to when I'm looking for a airfare. I say I'm going from here to here on this date, search. And what does it do? It could just be a black screen until it goes and checks all those servers for all those different airlines. But instead it says, now checking Delta, now checking Southwest, now checking United. It's just so that while I'm sitting there, I go, okay, progress is being made. All right. Okay, now we're ready. And I see my search results. They didn't have to do that, but it's amazing how in our modern culture, I'm just tapping my foot. when there's just some sort of delay where nothing's happening, or it seems like nothing's happening. And I think that's what's going on here with Kay's situation too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the store was busy. I'm sure everybody was working very hard. But if I don't know that, then my assumption is not positive. My assumption is negative, that yeah, things aren't happening, nothing's working, nobody cares, they're uninterested. I guess it's not important that I'm here to buy a car. I mean, I can make up like 4,000 negative things that could be going on here.
Right. Right.
So yeah, keeping the customer informed and speeding up the process.
Yeah.
The availability of digital retailing, where the customer can go online and do a lot of the stuff that we used to do in the store, and making sure that the store is picking up right where the customer left off online. Yes. So this frictionless, seamless transition from the internet to the store, man, that's just beautiful. Yeah, you pull that off, and now the time's reduced. Customers feel smart. There's not a repetition of sharing of information. All of a sudden, this is fun, and I'd like to do it more frequently.
And if you're having trouble wrapping your head around what kind of a frustration we're talking about here, put yourself in the shoes of yourself, because I know we've all done this. You call some sort of hotline for whatever company you're working with. They ask you to put in 5 or 6 different items of information, your account number, your social security, whatever it is. And then you talk to somebody live finally after a big long wait. And then that person asks you the same stupid questions that you just filled out all that information on. You wasted your time, right? I don't know how it helped them, but you know that you wasted your time because you're doubling your effort. So if I spend a bunch of time, we'll use a little car speak here. If I'm talking with your BDC and I'm your customer, and then I come into your showroom, and anything that I talked about with that BDC has to be repeated to the person on actually on the sales floor, so frustrating, right? So frustrating. We've got to do better about that, to where we do make it, like you said, seamless. Whatever I'm doing, I can just step into the next step of that, regardless of who I'm talking to at the dealership.
Well, and I'm seeing it out there, just in fits and starts. You're starting to see pieces of this come together. So yes, it's an exciting time in this particular industry, where the technology usage is now catching up to the times. And yeah, we can make this not just something you have to do, but something that you would enjoy doing.
How about that?
Yeah, and that would be awesome. Concept. Yeah, as you were talking about this, I'm thinking about, I have stores, and their goal is to do business in such a way that you could send your grandma into the store, your favorite grandma into the store, and not worry about who waited on her and what happened, because you know that everybody in the store and the processes in the store would do what's right for the customer as well as the dealership.
I love that. It's like my barber shop. I know that every single barber there is good, and I trust all of them. And so, I'm pretty busy. And so, when I step up there, I don't sit around waiting on that one guy that, everybody knows can actually cut hair. I trust all of these guys. Right. Right. I love that. I love that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I'll wait.
Right.
Yeah. The guy with one eye, one leg shorter than the other, so all his haircuts run uphill. Yeah. No, I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me say one other thing to sort of set up our next episode.
Ooh, okay.
So 3 things here, right? Are you slow to respond? Are you using terms that your customers don't know? And are you selling things that they don't know for sure that they need? Those are the 3 questions that we put in your lap. And I guess technically they're yes/no questions, right? But often what we see when you and I work with stores is that they come up with a plan that they want to execute to improve one of these 3 things. And if you're going to work on improving one of these things, you're probably going to have to tie it to some sort of goal. You're going to have to give yourself some sort of end point that you're striving to achieve. Slow to respond. How would you define slow? How would I know that you had been successful at overcoming slowness in your process? So we can't believe that we haven't done this already, but we've gone back and looked at our records. And after 2 years, we have, as near as we can tell, not recorded an episode about SMART goals. And this is such a basic and critical component of, at least in the modern era, how you go about attacking a problem and overcoming things to achieve a goal. So we're excited to do that in our next episode. And that's all I've got. Mike, anything else from you as a closing thought?
No, excited about SMART goals, and excited that Dolores shared with us this wonderful story. Very appreciative of that, and we hope that Kay's future experiences are much better, going forward. So we remain hopeful and optimistic, unlike our announcer. Who sees the world differently. Let's see what our guy Mr. Wolf has to say.
And that's it. Join us next time when you'll hear Mike say, well, I'm sure he'll say something pithy. Don't miss it. Next time, it doesn't take a genius.
That's good enough.